Sometimes that crazy ex-girlfriend who's acting psycho is really the victim telling the truth about her abuser. Hello and welcome to another episode in the Narcissism series on my channel. This is where I educate and share with you what it's like being with a narcissist. At times using my personal experience and my clients' experiences to shed some light on the disorder we all seem to be dealing with lately more than ever. If you're struggling and suffering in silence, you don't have to. Join a community that will understand what you're going through. There is always hope that life will get better. Before I get into today's topic, hit the subscribe button now so you won't miss out on all the valuable tools you may need in your journey of healing and becoming a stronger, wiser version of you. I started today's episode by a quote that I found online. As soon as I read it, it triggered me. It actually reminded me of a true story that I personally experienced. A story I have decided to share with you with the intention to raise awareness and correct some ideas. As most of you know, if you have been following me and watching my videos, you know that I admitted to falling in the narcissistic trap more than once. I had no idea that this ex of mine was a narcissist until way later, after we separated and somehow maintained being in touch. I had no idea that what I was living with him was a typical case of a narcissistic personality disorder. Quickly, let me remind you that not everyone who has behaved in some narcissistic ways qualifies for the diagnosis. But because I studied the subject intensely and have been awarded several certifications in psychology studies and personality disorders, I can confidently declare this ex is a narcissist. I can't believe how blinded I was when I was in that relationship. Never mind the fact that I knew nothing about narcissism at that time, but I'm talking there were signs and behaviors that deep down I questioned and weren't comfortable with. But I always gave the benefit of the doubt, decided to trust and believe in what I thought we shared. Until one day, my whole world came crashing down when I finally got concrete evidence I was being cheated on. And with who? The girl I thought was a psycho ex who was obsessed to destroy my relationship with the man I wholeheartedly believed loved me so much. I will never forget that day. As my ex and I, returning from a beautiful vacation together, exiting the airport at 5 o'clock in the morning, only to be met by a girl who approached to tell me that he has been cheating on me with her, telling her that he loved her while telling me the same, spending time with her when I was not around. She had a file prepared with their texts back and forth and dates when he visited her place. I watched how angry my ex became. He called her psycho immediately and denied everything. He looked right at me and said, "Let's go. I don't have time for this bullshit. Do you really want to stand here and listen to a crazy person?" I don't know where I got the strength, but I stood there totally composed. I told her thank you for doing whatever she thought she needed to do and asked her to leave us alone. I stopped him from creating a scene at the airport and separated them from the shouting that they were doing at each other. We ended up getting into a taxi and went back to my place. Long story short, I decided to believe him over her. I chose to listen to his excuses that I later found out were lies and manipulation. But I looked right at him and he seemed so sincere. He stared right into my eyes and swore that this girl is crazy and that she has been after him for a long time. And since he has been avoiding her, she just decided to do something crazy to mess up his relationship with me. He reminded me of all the love we shared and urged me not to get affected by this, and most of all, to trust him. Even though there were so many questions that I needed answers to, even though some things didn't add up or make sense to me, there were loopholes in the story, I still chose to stick by him. But I couldn't let it go. I kept on digging and investigating. I got the courage and met her without telling him one day. And it was then that I got to know that I was lied to all this time. I allowed it. I didn't listen to that inner voice. I knew something didn't add up. Maybe I was afraid to find out the truth. Maybe I convinced myself because I loved him. Maybe I was under his spell. Now I know I was dealing with a narcissist who was very good at lying, manipulating, and controlling the situation and getting away with it all. On the surface, it seemed she was a psycho. I mean, who does things like that? And who sends anonymous texts warning to monitor your partner's whereabouts, describing what he was wearing on a particular day with an explanation that he left my place and went straight to hers? Who would put themselves through this kind of embarrassment, confronting the other woman? I found these behaviors suspicious. I would never do anything of the sort if I were in her shoes. I truly thought about it for a long time, but in the end, I did follow my inner wisdom. And when I was ready, I decided to have that confrontation to find out the truth. I just wanted the truth. You see, a lot of times we judge people thinking they are crazy, psycho, when in reality, they are hurt people who have been fooled and lied to. Her sanity was questioned by my ex-narcissist when she confronted him about his lying about me. He made up stories and apparently I was chasing him and obsessed with him. Doesn't it sound like the same story he told me about her? He convinced her we were just friends, and he convinced me she was a psycho. Oh, there's more to that juicy story that I am choosing to keep the rest of the details to myself. I just thought I would share with you a real story that you may relate to, although it may sound like it's something coming from a movie. But trust me, it was all real. I lived it. Just as you are living your own story, whatever your story may be. All I can tell you, open your eyes and listen to that inner voice. When there is doubt, even a tiny bit, dig. Dig and investigate until you get to the truth. Even if the truth will hurt you. Even if it becomes clear that you've lived a lie for years. Isn't it better to not invest any more years into this? What's gone is gone. You can't bring it back. Now is all you have. So do what needs to be done, no matter how hard it may seem at first. You will be okay. Let me end it here. Hope my story helps you somehow. If nothing else, maybe it entertained you. And until next episode, until I share with you more on the narcissism subject, take care of yourself. Ciao, ciao. I hope you liked this video. Please do hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram and on Facebook. Thank you for watching.